Hey, Arena. How are you? You sound very confident.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Okay.
It's allergy season.
Oh,
Someday, maybe, if Dad ever retires, I'd like to just, the month of September, go somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere they don't have,
Right.
allergy. I don't know. If we'd outrun it and go to Canada, or if you go, he said, it was,
Arizona.
I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah.
It's still like, okay.
I don't know what the answer is to that.
Morning, Rowena.
Good morning.
Morning, Jim.
How are you, Jim?
Very good. It's very nice day so far.
Yep.
Not very far yet.
This is ahead of time, but you can look at it until your birthday.
You're early.
I know, that's what I mean. But
Oh, we.
you can set it up and look, enjoy it between now and then.
Not my birthday.
There's a boat down there in Deep Creek.
Birthday's next Sunday.
I know. I thought you might want to look at the card all week.
You're making me older than what I
What day's Jim Franklin's? It's in the 20s.
is. Next Tuesday.
Week from Tuesday. Yeah.
His is the 20. Mine's the 24th. His is the 26th.
Okay, 2 days apart. Are the same year? The same age?
No,
Is he older?
1 year different.
Who's older?
I'm the oldest.
You are. Okay, I couldn't remember.
I was the oldest of the group.
And Daryl and you and Larry and
No, I think Daryl was a couple months older than I was.
a couple months.
But
I knew you were all four of you right there.
Larry's a year and a month. His is the 26th of October.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I haven't done a card for him yet, but their anniversary is coming up, so I thought maybe I'd just give it to Rick and Kim. The address,
You know where they met?
Bernard and Yvonne's wedding. I've heard of that.
I think one of them was the best man, the other one was.
Maid of honor. Yeah, that's cool. Cool story. Oh, Jimmy.
Good morning.
They got to slide their foot back in there. And then they stick their thing back in there. That's right. And once in a while they get that, they be a beaver. But most of them, they have blue cats, not much left, and they're mean. And that, I don't know what he had more the same age as I did. And he didn't have. They said they didn't have or knew about it. And they got a whole lot. And that's something.
No, I'm fine.
Hello, he has everybody. And it's not because of skill level. I put you got in. Well, I don't really do it by. I do it by.
How you doing, young man?
Yeah, I don't want to get in there.
Still here, young man.
Doing okay?
Oh, hey, Sharon. How are you? Okay, good. I don't really fill up there, but it feels good. Now, I knew one guy. When you need his dad. When you need just a light punch, it's the perfect place. Yeah. And Lauren said he was the only one. Fell sideways here. Last night was perfect. I loved last night. That was great. Hey, Debbie. How are you? Hey, Ron. How you feeling?
Not too bad.
All right. Glad you're here, friend. Now, assuming I can get a piece of paper here. There we go. All All right, excuse me. Hey, Ben. What did you do? Blue bean, yeah. It's not too bad.
It's not too much.
You think this is an S&P?
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Well, you always look like you've gotten 10 hours of sleep, so you're doing great. Yeah.
All yours.
I don't think I said hi. It's a very strange thing. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go take a look at meeting at church. Apparently she survived overnight.
I didn't see him, but I did get those picture doors and the kids up.
Quite a deal there.
It's up to you. I just want you to know. Yep. Yep. How are you, Janet?
Next year it'll be 1,000. What do you bet?
Okay.
Oh, really?
Finally got around to you, Mark. You moved so fast.
I was just told yesterday to find out if you did.
As you always tell me, inside
Yeah.
the
So generally happens
I got it.
Me too. Last year on
Anybody else comes in, you just track them down.
When the alarm went off, like she just.
Usually.
AFib, I think.
It comes back.
Thanks for asking.
Well, good morning, friends. It is good to see all of you. We are in Romans chapter 5. While you turn there, I've got a special request for you. You might have heard from Dennis if you've spoken to him or others, but people have been very hard at work at the Elmer Christian Church getting ready for a revival. It's very exciting seeing the progress they've made and the other things that they're doing. And the preacher boys that are there, they now have 3 instead of 2, so that's exciting. That's a 50% increase. And when you're in a church that small, every person counts. I mean, every person counts anyway, but really in those situations. And so I have a special request that for the revival on Sunday night, I really ask you to be there. Also, and that's not this Sunday night, it's a couple weeks from now. But also, if you're not comfortable driving in the dark, my wife's going to drive the church bus.
Oh, no.
Actually, if I was driving the church bus, that's when you say, oh no. But with Kara, she's never, give you an idea, she's never had a traffic ticket, never had an accident, never. I mean, she's spotless. And if you want her to drive at Warp 10, she can. So, but the point is that we'll have transportation options, so I'm just really asking that you'll be there. We really want to help build that little church. Seeing Elmer, and other churches that I work with that are small and that are in little towns and that there are no, there's really no other option around. I really do believe that it's at least our responsibility in some way to do what we can to help them. We are so fortunate to be the size of church we are in Callio. We take it for granted, but it's amazing. And that's all God. And so we want to do all we can to support these tiny churches. So it'd be great if you could be there. That's just my personal request and favor I'm asking of you. All right.
Excuse me, Joe.
Yes.
Before you go on, last week, I don't know if you noticed, but people sat in front of your
Yeah.
camera, so we might want to ask people not to obstruct the view for the people on the road.
Yeah. Sunday school last week caught the back of Debbie's hair for like 45 minutes. Thankfully, that doesn't block the microphone. But yeah, you were right. I didn't notice until like 2/3 of the way through, and I thought, well, what's the difference now?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all good. Yes, Karen.
I talked to Velvet yesterday.
Oh, good.
She called me.
Yeah,
Be good.
okay, yeah. And she likes to watch us,
Yeah.
so I'm grateful. Yeah, well, very good. We love Velda. We miss Velda. In fact, on the chalkboard there, it still says, "We will miss you, Bill and Velda." It's still on there, because that was his classroom.
Yeah, I know.
Him and Larry's. Yeah. All right. Well, let's dive in. Romans chapter 5, verses 3 and 4. This is a very meaningful passage, a very important passage. I preached a whole revival on this passage back in 2018 in Indiana. This is something that I bring up to people all the time. If I'm having private conversations with somebody and we're talking about either growing as a Christian or we're talking about getting through difficult times, this is a go-to passage. So this is really helpful, practically helpful, to share with somebody else who's going through a hard time. Okay? Last week we talked about having peace with God, and that's the first two verses of Romans chapter 5, and that's also very useful. And it feeds right into this idea of how we have hope. And the how we have hope is not something that we would think of ourselves. It obviously is of God. So would somebody read Romans chapter 5, verses 3 through 5?
And not only are tribulations, knowing that tribulation brings about perseverance, and perseverance proven character, and proven character hope. And hope does not disappoint, because the love of God has been poured out who is given to us.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Did you notice that you just read the formula for hope as a Christian? It's nothing we would have invented. It's nothing any man ever thinks of. 2,000 years later, people are still trying to find it through distractions, through fun, through other reasons and other things. But the truth is, look at this again. We exult in our tribulations, knowing that tribulations brings about perseverance, and perseverance proving character, and proving character hope. So what's the first step to hope as a Christian? Tribulations. Now, none of us would have chose that because nobody likes tribulations. By definition, it's struggle, it's difficulty. But God knows how we're built. We are people who are meant to, at least to some degree, to struggle. We get a great deal of meaning and purpose out of overcoming difficulty. And those who try to prepare the road in advance for others, like parents or grandparents who try to make the road easy so kids and grandkids don't have to struggle at all, that's a real mistake. Now, I'm not saying you can't make some things easier sometimes. I mean, I get that. You know, that's love. But the overall thrust is that, and this is something we actually need to teach others, is that you actually need some struggle in your life. You need some obstacles to overcome. This is actually important.
The people you meet who've had tribulation generally turn into better people
They do.
than people who have not.
Absolutely. I know, and this is a very small example, and so many, and I'm open to anything you all have to talk about when it comes to tribulations. But even growing up in a small business, I did not understand the struggle of small business until I was in small business. And then you realize that you don't have a job, you have a life. Like, to be successful self-employed, it pretty much is who you are. It defines almost everything you do. And that's a struggle, because good luck with work-life balance. I never figured it out. Never did. Still struggle with it. And so what that did was help me really appreciate small business. So when I see